The Galapagos Islands, an archipelago of volcanic islands in the Pacific Ocean located on the equator, 1,000 kilometers west of continental Ecuador. Like other isolated islands, they have a wide array of endemic species, meaning species found nowhere else on the planet. Of all wildlife found on the Galapagos, about 80% of land birds, 97% of reptiles, 30% of plants, and more than 20% of all marine species in the Galapagos are endemic. The reason for this high rate of endemism comes primarily from the island's distance and isolation from other mainland ecosystems. Long ago, a variety of species made their way to the Galapagos Islands. Over time, these parent species colonized the islands while evolving peculiar characteristics specifically tailored to their environment. Iconic species of the Galapagos include the giant tortoise, the marine iguana, the Galapagos fur seal, and yes, even a species of penguins. The Galapagos penguins are the northernmost species of penguins and the only penguin found on the equator. Unlike most cold-water penguins, they have several distinct adaptations that allow them to tolerate the warmer climate of the Galapagos. Like most species of penguins, the Galapagos penguins are generalists and opportunists that eat what is available to them. They are a coast-hugging species and shallow divers, spending 90% of the time at depths of less than 6 meters and often within a few meters of shore. Like other penguins, they are daytime foragers. When breeding, they generally leave their nests at sunrise and return around sunset to rest and spend the night on land. When food is scarce, Galapagos penguins do not breed and may leave their breeding location to migrate around the archipelago looking for food. Once food is more available, penguins forage hard to gain weight, and following a 7 to 28 day period at sea gorging, their body weight increases by about a third. These reserves allow them to undergo a molt, where they lose their old feathers and grow new ones. Unlike any other penguin species, which molt only once a year, Galapagos adults molt as often as twice a year, and juveniles molt into adult plumage at about 6 months of age. The Galapagos penguins have no strict breeding season, but breeding is more common in the cool, dry season, generally May through December. They can mate on land or in the water. The life history of the Galapagos penguin is well adapted to the unpredictable availability of food that characterizes the Galapagos marine environment. But the flexibility of the Galapagos penguin's breeding and molting schedule is just one example of how organisms have evolved to life on the Galapagos Islands. When Charles Darwin first visited the islands, his observations while on the Galapagos culminated into what we now know as the theory of evolution by natural selection, which he derived from the idea that all inhabitants of these islands are descendants from other mainland species, and over time, evolved specialized characteristics that have allowed them to colonize and survive on these isolated islands. Had it not been for the wide array of endemic species found on the Galapagos Islands, Charles Darwin may have never proposed his compelling answer to the outstanding question of biology, which was how life on Earth had evolved.